About 8 years ago, I was driving back from a friend's wedding in northern Maine. I was the designated driver for my buddy Mark, who had spent the reception trying to drink the open bar into bankruptcy. By midnight, he was asleep in the passenger seat with his mouth open, snoring in a way that made me question if he was secretly part lawnmower. I don't mind night driving, I actually prefer it. Less traffic, no sun in your eyes, just you, the dotted line, and whatever podcast you've been meaning to finish. That night, I was somewhere on a 2-lane highway called Route 27, no streetlights, just a tunnel of pine trees on both sides, and a thin fog sitting on the asphalt like it was tired too. My phone had lost service about 20 minutes earlier. That didn't bother me either. I knew I was heading south. I'd hit the main interstate eventually. I had a full tank of gas, a sleeping friend, and absolutely no reason to be afraid. And that's when I saw the car in my rearview mirror. It was far back, just 2 headlights floating in the darkness. Normal. Then I blinked and it was closer. Not like it accelerated, like it skipped, like frames missing from a movie. I told myself I was tired. It was almost 1 a.m. My eyes were playing tricks. I checked my speed. I was doing 62 in a 55. The car behind me didn't pass. It just stayed there. Same distance, same speed, for miles. That's when I noticed the headlights were wrong. They weren't bright white or warm yellow. They were orange, like the color of a dying ember. I'd never seen headlights that color before. I tapped my brakes once, just a little flash to say, "Hey, you're close." Nothing. I tapped again, harder this time. The orange lights dropped back for a second. Then they surged forward. Fast. Too fast. I watched them grow in my mirror until I couldn't see anything else. I braced for impact, but the impact never came. Instead, the car pulled up beside me. On the left. In the oncoming lane. Except there was no oncoming lane. It was a 2-lane road. The car was driving on the shoulder. On the wrong side. I turned my head slowly. I didn't want to look, but I looked. The car was a sedan, old, maybe an 80s model. Dark color, blue or black, I couldn't tell in the dark. The windows were rolled down, all 4 of them, and inside there were no people. I stared at the driver's seat, empty, passenger seat, empty, back seats, empty. The car was driving itself at 65 miles per hour, perfectly parallel to me with all 4 windows down. Then I saw the hands, 2 hands, pale, thin, clinging to the outside of the car. One on the driver's door handle, one on the rear door handle. Like someone was hanging onto the side of the vehicle, hidden from view. Fingernails digging into the metal. The hands started to move. Not toward me, just crawling, finger over finger, like they were trying to climb around to my side. I slammed on the brakes. Mark jolted awake. What's happening? I didn't answer. I was watching the rearview mirror. The empty car kept going. It didn't brake, it didn't swerve, it just continued down the road, orange taillights shrinking into the fog. Then the taillights stopped shrinking. They stopped moving altogether. The car had pulled over, about a quarter mile ahead, just sitting there, dark, silent. "We need to turn around," I said. Mark was still half asleep. "What? Why?" I didn't explain. I just flipped a U-turn in the middle of the highway and drove the other way. Fast. For the next 10 minutes, I watched my mirrors. Nothing followed. The road was empty. I started to breathe again. Mark asked me twice what I saw, and both times I said nothing because I didn't have words for it. We hit the interstate about an hour later. Service came back. Everything was normal. I dropped Mark off at his apartment. I went home. I showered. I went to bed. I told myself it was fatigue, a hallucination, stress, and for 2 years I almost believed that. Then I was at a party, someone's backyard, summer, drinking a beer, and I got to talking with a guy named Pete who said he used to be a long-haul trucker. We were swapping road trip stories, harmless stuff. I told him about the empty car, just as a weird anecdote. His face changed. He put his beer down. He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, "Route 27, near the old quarry." It wasn't a question. He knew. I said, "How did you know that?" He rubbed his face. Because I saw it too. 15 years ago. Same stretch, same orange lights, same hands on the outside of the car. He told me that among truckers who ran that route at night, there was a name for it. They called it the third lane. The idea was that on certain roads, at certain hours, there was a lane that didn't exist on any map, a lane for things that weren't quite alive and weren't quite dead. The hands, he said, are looking for a ride, not a car ride, a body ride. They want to crawl inside someone. That's why the windows are down. That's why they hang on the outside. They're waiting for you to stop, to get out, to help. I laughed, nervous. That's just a trucker ghost story. He nodded. Yeah, probably. Then he pulled up his sleeve. On his forearm were 4 long scars, old ones, white and raised. I stopped, he said, 15 years ago. I saw the empty car on the shoulder. I thought someone was having a medical emergency. I got out to help. He touched the scars. Something tried to crawl inside me, not through my mouth or my nose, through my skin, like my pores were doors. I fought it off, barely, drove myself to a hospital, told them I'd been in a wreck. They believed me. He pulled his sleeve back down. You didn't stop, he said. That's why you're still you. I didn't sleep well for a month after that conversation. I still don't drive Route 27 at night. If I have to go north, I add 2 hours to my trip and take the interstate. But here's the part I've never told anyone. Last year I was cleaning out my garage, old boxes, junk. I found a duffel bag I hadn't opened since college. Inside was a winter coat I used to wear, and inside the pocket of that coat was a note, handwritten in my handwriting, and it said, "Don't look in the rearview mirror after 2 a.m. They learn your face." I don't remember writing it, but I remember the hands, and I remember that for just a second, when the empty car pulled alongside me, I thought I saw a face in the window, not in the seat, in the glass, pressed flat, smiling. I still don't know if that face was mine.